We are live. Hi.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Same here. I think I've been following you on Substack already for quite a while. We had a couple of exchanges, etc. So I was really looking forward for today.
Yeah, me too. Well, the first time I got to know you was through Vinayak's collaboration article. You had written about how to build freedom while you're working in a 9 to 5. And I strongly related to that article because it's the reality of so many of us here on Substack and everybody in your personal life and your acquaintances. Everybody is doing this 9 to 5, but at some point you're like, you know what? This is not enough for me. I want more. And I haven't found the words to articulate it, but just reading your article, it made me feel less alone because I felt good that okay, there are other people who are in the same journey as me. So great article. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely. There is so many of us, not just on Substack, I think absolutely everywhere that can relate to that idea. I work in 9 to 5, but I want more than these. I am capable of more than these. And the problem is that so many times people get comfortable in their 9 to 5. And even though they have a vision and they have a dream, they will postpone that dream, right, for another week, another month, and then becomes another year, and it becomes many years to the point where you kind of stop believing that you are capable of doing anything else.
That's dangerous when you stop believing that good things can happen to you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So when did you realize that you wanted more than 9 to 5?
Oh, actually, probably a long time ago, but many years ago, even back in Portugal, I came to live in England in 2010. So I'm here for 16 years now, which is almost all my adult life. But even before that, I knew that I wanted more. And maybe that's one of the reasons that made me come and explore something else. You kind of need to be brave somehow to make decisions that will change your life. But I always knew that working for somebody else is fine. Is absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I knew that it would not give me the freedom that I wanted. It would not give me the options that I wanted. When I say freedom, to me, I'm talking about free time to do whatever I want with who I want, when I want, and where I want. And so if you work a 9 to 5, that's not going to be possible. You're going to have to be asking your boss for permission to take a day off.
That's true. I'm glad that you realized this early on because for me, 9 to 5 is all I knew. My parents had worked in 9 to 5. My family works in 9 to 5. I have never seen anybody do anything other than 9 to 5. So when
Mhm.
I had this realization, it was a it was not early on. It was much later than I should have started, but better late than never. I'm glad that I realized that there is more to life than just 9 to 5. So again, glad that you
Exactly.
realized early. So what is the first step you took to build
Uh,
this journey of your freedom?
yes. So again, going back to many years ago, I remember when I got my first computer. I'm originally from Portugal. My family didn't have a lot of money. And then my godfather gave me my first computer. I was probably 15 or something at the time. Um, And I remember so well that one of the first things that I searched on Google is how can I make money from home? Literally. And that's how I got into blogging so many years ago. And
Mm,
that's how I got into affiliate marketing, which is one of the streams of income that I have,
mm,
and that had for many, many years. Uh, at the beginning, I was a little bit all over the place because you kind of don't know what you should do. So you search on Google or any other search engine, and whatever comes first is what catches your attention, right? So I ended up doing a lot of different little businesses, multi-level marketing, that sort of thing, that it kind of takes actually a lot of your time and it doesn't really pay you. If you want to get paid well, you're going to have to put a lot of hours in, and it's never really going to be passive income.
mm,
um, Moving forward quite a few years here in the UK,
mm,
what happened was I was working with a state agency,
mm,
a real estate agency, and we were managing over 250 properties for landlords. At that point, I realized that I'm doing all this work, and the landlords are literally not doing anything at all, and they are getting paid. And at that moment, I realized two things. That is passive income.
mm,
That is passive income, not just passive income, is another source of income.
mm,
And I started learning all these different ways on how I could do the same thing. Um, and that's what I did. I spoke with people that I know first. I say, I want to do this, I want to get into property. And then I partnered with a family member at first because I had no money, but I also learned that I can do property using other people's money with a partnership where I'm going to use their money but pay them back, and I'm going to own the property myself. I will get an asset that is going to increase in value. So I will get capital gains if I sell the property in the future, and I will not capital gains. That's not what I mean. I want to speak in a way that is not just appropriate in the UK, but everywhere.
mm,
Um, so that what I'm saying is the property will appreciate in value, and I will get that equity on the property as wealth. As well as the passive income, the rental income that that property is going to give me. So that was a huge realization that I had. So rental income and assets is the number one thing, I think, in my opinion, that you can have to build wealth, and you can do it while you are working a 9 to 5.
That's amazing. It's great that early on in your life you worked in this agency that gave you exposure to what's possible, how to invest in assets and build your wealth. That's the key to you starting this journey of your financial freedom. I have one question, but before that, I just wanted to welcome V, Wenka01, Heidi, Christian, Patrick, and Dido. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to
Hello,
have you.
everyone.
David was just talking to us about how he had started working in an agency, a rental property agency, where he had managed the rental properties of people without them having to lift their finger. All they would do, David, so is they'd pay your agency to take care of the maintenance of those properties, and you'd collect the rents and do the maintenance on
Exactly,
those properties. Okay.
exactly that.
So I have a quick question. So if you are the agency, you get a cut in their rental income or the income that comes from their rental properties, right?
Hmm.
So I will tell you about my mindset. So far, I have not been in real estate or property because I had always assumed real estate, one, is for rich people. Two, there's a lot of maintenance involved. And
Mhm.
even if you don't do the maintenance yourself, which if you did, you're spending a lot of your time on it. And even if you didn't do it yourself and you gave it to a rental agency to manage it, they get a significant cut. So my thought process was, well, are you really making that much on the money you invested? Was something that I have always had questions on. So I want to get your take on that. Like, you get
Mhm.
you the agency takes a cut. I'm assuming some percentage of it, but does
Mhm.
it still make sense? Do you feel like it does it still make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, not every property deal that you're going to make is the same. For the majority of the property investors, they buy a property, they will give it to a state agency to manage that property, and the agency will take a percentage. That's how usually it works. And I don't think it's just in the UK. In most countries, that's how it's going to work. Um, in the UK, an average of what the agency will take will be about 10%. It could be a little bit less, a little bit more. It depends on how many properties they are managing for you. Of course, you can negotiate. If you've got a big portfolio, you kind of can say, well, you're going to have to charge me a little bit less, so I'm going to go somewhere else. If you grow a portfolio that is too big, you might want to employ somebody directly to manage those properties for you. So, for the average property deal, a landlord is not going to make a lot of money as passive income. In the UK, it's probably going to be between 200 and 500 pounds per month as profit. However, there is so many different ways in which you can make money with property um, that are way more profitable. I can find a property that needs a, a lot of work done to it. I can find somebody that needs to sell the property because of a situation, a life circumstance. They're going to be able to, well, I'm going to be able to negotiate substantially discount on that property deal. Let's say that is worth £200,000 and I buy it for £150,000 or US dollars, whatever. And because I'm going to make it all pretty again, it's then going to be worth £250,000. What I'm going to do, I don't want to make people confused, but what I'm going to do is I now have a property that is worth £250,000, but I only spent £150,000 on the property. I can do a deal with a bank that is going to refinance that, give me about 75% of the money back that I'm going to be paying monthly, right? As with the mortgage. But I have again £150,000 to go and do my next deal. There is many, many, many. That is just one way. I do Airbnbs. You are familiar with Airbnb. On an Airbnb, I have a property that I don't own. I rent from somebody else, and I rent that property for less than £1,000 per month. However, I use it as an Airbnb. People stay there and pay an average of £100 a day, well, a night, to stay on there. So it's not fully occupied 100% of the time. 100% of the time in 30 days would be about £3,000, and I need to pay 1,000 to the owner of the property. I keep the other 2,000. But even if it's only 80% of the time that is occupied, then it's still over £2,500. And I will keep that difference. And I don't own that property. I didn't need a lot of money to start doing that Airbnb. So that's just one other way. It's not about property. If you want to learn about property, or anybody that is listening or is going to listen in the future, then they actually should send me a message. I've got a completely different publication, Secret Property Club, where we teach about property investing.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, David. I hadn't realized that there's different ways you can use property to build wealth. I had always assumed that property always meant you have to put significant amount of capital upfront, and then that capital is locked for a long, long time. And then you have to deal with maintenance and repairs and difficult renters and all that. But talking to you, I realized that that's not the only way. There are many, many ways to make money and build wealth off of real estate and property.
Many, many, many different ways. Let me tell you a secret. I don't tell this to many people, but I'm going to share. So I am a portfolio landlord. I've got a number of properties. I don't drive.
Seriously?
I don't drive.
Wow.
So you kind of can. It just shows. So I don't drive. I work a 9 to 5. So it just shows and proves that you can do it from your laptop. Of course, I need to have people that work with me, that sometimes I do go to properties, but I don't drive. So I'm just showing that if I can do it, then probably a lot of people can do it that are in the same situation as me.
Wow. I hadn't realized that, because by definition, if it's a property deal, I would assume you have to go to places, see the property, figure out what changes you need to make to the layout if you're flipping it or improving it, and trying to sell to a different client. But it's really interesting that without driving, having a 9 to 5, you're able to invest significantly in different property deals. That's something that I didn't know about you. Quite interesting.
Well, I suppose that it can be a bit surprising for a lot of people if I say it, because the reason I said that is because I could see that in your mind you were thinking, oh, this is a lot of work, the
Yeah.
management of the properties and the maintenance. But guess what? I don't do maintenance myself. If I need a plumber, I call the plumber, he visits the property. You know, if I need to do an inspection, I've got a team that will do that for me. Of course, that I will have to pay something, but that's just like having any other business. There are costs for the business, right? But if there's a problem with the roof, I'm not going to go up on the roof. You know, I only deal with keyboards and mobile phones. That's it. That's what I can do.
Wow. Yeah, you've opened my eyes a lot today, David. That's really good. So I have a follow-up question about that. So if you're not driving, if you're doing a 9 to 5, then you must have a team that you really trust, that's reliable, that will show
Mhm.
up when there is an emergency plumbing issue or some other issue that needs to be taken care of in one of the Airbnbs or one of the rental
Mhm.
properties. So, do you have a strong team that you rely on?
Um, I don't have a strong team or a big team. I don't want to make it look that way at all. I don't have a big team. I have somebody that can do maintenance, small repairs.
Mm,
My wife helps me a lot as well. Sometimes if she likes to do. So this is about collaboration, right? When you have a partner, you need to find a partner that likes to do ABC, and you are good at DEF. You know what I mean? So she loves to go and see properties. She loves to go and do viewings.
mm,
One of my business partners, he likes to go and do viewings.
mm,
Um, so I don't need to go to the properties unless it's necessary,
mm,
right? If we are looking to buy a new property or if we are looking to for a new deal, My wife, for example, she likes to go and see 10 of them, and then she will tell me, these two are pretty good. So I will go to only those two.
Mm,
When it comes to maintenance, I do have a good team. Uh, each person is good at one thing, has one particular skill set. And then when it comes to the business itself, I also have a good team, but they don't work for me. I'm just one of their clients. I have a good accountant, I have a good mortgage broker, insurance broker, good solicitors, good lawyers. Um, so I need to work with those people, but they don't work for me. They
mm.
just need to do that one thing when I need them, So they all have their own businesses. But yes, you do have to find the right people to work with.
Got it. Okay. That's very helpful. I, I had this misconception that you have a huge team working for you and
No.
maintaining all these properties. So, yeah, that's
No. So for example, and I didn't want to make this episode all about property, but let's talk about a little bit more because it's important that people understand. And what I'm about to tell you applies not just in England, but everywhere. When it comes to the Airbnb, the property is about 1 hour away from where I live. The last time that I've been there, it was probably 4 months ago, something like that. So I
mm,
never go to the property. I have a very good cleaning team,
mm,
and I've got a maintenance person that can do small repairs in the property, because guests come and go very frequently. And so I need to send somebody, to cut the lawn, or I need to paint a wall because it's now got ketchup on the wall, something like that. So we need to do those things quite quickly. So I've got someone that is available and that is very reliable. When I need him, he goes to the property and gets it sorted, and then he charges me for whatever he had to buy and for his time. The cleaning team receives automated reminders saying a guest is leaving the property tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, so we need you to clean the property. Somebody else will come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They will go and do it.
mm,
My software will do all of these automatically.
mm,
We'll take the payments automatically. I've got a virtual assistant based in Pakistan that sends messages to the guests saying, is everything okay? How is your first night? Would you like to stay another night? Would you like to a late checkout? So he tries to sell them other services.
mm,
And once a week, I kind of check that everything is going well. Once a month, I make payments to people,
mm.
and that's it.
I see.
So I don't really need to do a lot for that Airbnb.
That's interesting. It feels like you have a good system to cover all your bases, right? To make sure that your guests are well taken care of, the property is cleaned, if there are
Mhm.
issues, that there is somebody maintaining that. And it's interesting that you have a virtual assistant in a different country trying to upsell the clients. So amazing system. You were really opening my mind to this, guys. People who are tuning in, please subscribe to David. He's amazing. He knows what he's doing. You will really benefit from his expertise and experience. So the other question that I wanted to ask, that I'm really curious about, is how do you even find deals like this? Like, how did you even know that there is this property that you needed, that you could rent and Airbnb out? Like, how did you even realize that the occupancy of it is going to be 70 or 80% more, and that it is worth your time and effort on this property?
So when I worked at that state agency, uh, I had an idea, which was we have about 150 landlords as clients. And my idea was, let's figure out a way to use their money to grow a portfolio
Mm.
of properties. And because I had the idea, but I didn't know how to do it at the time, I did some research and I found a company that could do property training, just like now I do with the Secret Property Club. And by the way, Heidi is watching. She works with me on the Secret Property Club. She's one of the mentors in the Secret Property Club, coaches, whatever you call it. She's an experienced property investor herself. But what I'm saying is, I had this idea. I didn't know how to achieve it. So I went to a place that almost like a school for property investors.
Mm.
And it changed my mind. It opened doors for me. It taught me how to do a bunch of crazy things people have no idea that is even possible. And so I went to that place and they told me different strategies, different ways on how I can find those deals. This is something that me and Heidi teach at the Secret Property Club. So if anybody wants to learn this sort of thing, then that's the place to go. Secret Property Club, or just send me a message. But I'll give you one way to find a property deal. There is probably 10 or 20 different ways to find these property deals. One of them is word of mouth.
Mm.
Tell everybody that you're looking for a property. If you
Mm.
tell everybody that you're looking for a property, when someone is about to put a property on the market, before they put the property on the market, they will let you know.
Mm.
I'm thinking about selling, David. I'm just need to, the kids don't no longer live at home. I need to downsize, find a smaller home. And so I'm thinking about selling.
Mm.
And I'm just going to have a conversation with that person, find what is it that they need, and provide a solution that works for them, that works for me, without them having to pay a lot of money to the state agency,
Mm.
because they are going to take a cut, a significant cut.
Mm.
Um, they don't need to. They can go to a professional property investor that will help them, that will buy the property from them. And that's how I got one of my deals. Somebody on Facebook that I didn't speak with for maybe 6 or 7 years, that worked with me for years and many years ago. One day, without hello, without anything at all, they sent me a message and said, maybe you want to come and see my house. I knew that it was because I'm putting all the time on Facebook saying I'm looking for property deals. And so I only replied to that guy saying, I'm free tomorrow at 2 o'clock. He said, works for me. And in less than 2 weeks, I had another set of keys.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Like it is so simple, unbelievably simple that tell people that you're looking for a property, right? You wouldn't
Yeah.
believe that something as simple as that works very effectively. Like I'm assuming there are other ways that you could do, like using social media and just reaching out to people that you haven't been in touch with for a while too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yes, in terms of letting people know, that's easy. You can go to a networking event, you can put on forums, you can do adverts, you can, some of the professional property investors that I know, they have it written in their car, an advert. I buy houses. There is
Mm.
so many different ways to let people know, but then there are plenty of other strategies that helps us find specific deals that are likely to be good deals. How do I find situations where most property investors wouldn't be interested because it's a difficult deal, it's too big, so it's a bit scary, it needs too much work, so it's a little bit scary. There
Mm.
was a fire in the property, so when somebody goes, the inexperienced investor will go there and they will say, I'm not touching this. This is going to be a nightmare. But guess what? Like I said before, I'm not the one that is going to fix the property. So there's nothing to be scared about. There's professionals that can do it and make it brand new again. Um, there are specific ways that we teach that you can use to find these deals. And then there's also different ways to find the money for those deals. I don't really invest a lot of my money. Most of the properties that I bought with somebody else's money.
How do you do that? How do you use somebody else's money?
So, for let's say, let me give you an example. You are a doctor. You are a doctor, and as a doctor, a surgeon, and you work all hours of the day. You make a lot of money. You actually have a lot of money saved in the bank. £200,000, £300,000 in savings. And you don't really know what to do with that money. And you have this realization that you're not working a 9 to 5, you're working a 9 to 12. You're working too many hours. Your kids are growing up. You don't have time to spend with your kids.
Yeah.
And you know you need to do something with your money. So I have the skill set to make that money grow a lot faster than whatever you receive on a savings account. In England, a savings account will pay you 1%, 2%, something like that. There are some accounts that will give you maybe 3%. I can pay that same doctor 1% a month for his money. Not always. It depends on what property deal I find. But I'm just giving you an example. So I can make his money work much, much faster. So we just put one A and B together. I have the skill set to make that money grow much faster, and he has the money. We don't do a handshake deal. We do a proper legal agreement that says, I'm going to use your money. This is how much I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you a very nice, juicy interest rate back. And if I don't pay you, this is what's going to happen. I will be penalized for it. In England, it's kind of easy to do. What's going to happen is if I don't pay you back, then you have absolute control of the property, and the property is yours. So you didn't really lose your money because the property is yours until I pay you back. Simply put, it's not just like that, but that's pretty much what would happen if I don't pay you back. So, and that is a joint venture. We do joint ventures. I work with other property investors where they just bring the money and they bring the work.
I see. So it's interesting. Like, to do a property deal, you need money, you need skill set, you need capital investment, but you don't have to bring all those to the table. It sounds like you bring your skill set to the table. You use other people's money, other people's capital, and you have people that you rely on and trust that you use. All of you as a team have figured out a way to make a business that is sustainable, that is profitable. That's really interesting.
Yes, very much. And everybody can do it, and it works everywhere. I could be in Brazil. Let's say I am in Brazil, and I can go and speak independent of what the regulation, the legislation is in each country. I'm pretty sure that in any country I can borrow money from one person.
Yeah.
Right? As long as I pay it back. So I can borrow money from one person and I'm going to do it. These projects, at the end of the project, I've got £50,000 profit. because I could just buy it, get it sorted, sell it again. And when I sell it again, let's say we spend 6 months in that project. I buy it, I do the refurbishment of the property. 6 months later, we sell it, it's all ready. I have £50,000 profit. I give £25,000 to the money guy, and I keep the other £25,000.
I see.
Does that make sense? Now, I don't do refurbs. I'm going to use somebody to do that, you know. Um, I was just the one that put the puzzle together. Now, if I gave you in 6 months a profit of £25,000, now you have your initial cash that was 200, you have 225. I'm going to say it to you. You want to do it again?
Of course,
You
I'm going to say
probably
yes.
will say yes.
Yeah.
You're going to say yes. But now we have more money to play with. Well, I say play, but it's not a game, okay? Now I have more money to play with. So we're just going to keep going again and again and again. Of course, that is so important that first you learn to do things properly, because it's not a gamble. You can't just find a property, buy it, and hope for the best. That could backfire. If you're going to use somebody else's money, you need to be absolutely sure that you know what you're doing and that you're going to be able to pay it back. That is really, really important. So I don't want anybody just saying, oh, this is a great idea, let's do it. It's not that simple. You should get educated first, know how to do it, and then go for it. But that works in property, on anything. You can do that with buying and sell cars. Buy a car and sell a car. Use somebody else's money to get started.
Yeah, that is such an important lesson, David. You always, when you learn or when you start this journey of building your wealth, the number one complaint that people have, or the top two complaints, that I don't have the skill set, I don't have the money or capital. But to your point, you can learn anything. You can build your skill, learn the ropes, start small, and do it. And two, you can use other people's money. So it's pretty much the same to your point about property, real estate, stocks, cars, flipping houses, whatever it is. You can start small, learn, and use other people's time and money. Such an important lesson, David.
Yes. So leverage other people,
Yeah.
So if I like to do marketing myself, it's something that I like, right? But if I'm not good at marketing, I'm going to leverage somebody else's skill to do my marketing. I have a great accountant. I'm leveraging the accountant skill set to help me with my numbers, right? With managing my money. And I'm leveraging my investors' money to buy more properties. I am leveraging Heidi Mobs, she's on the live, by inviting her to be part of my publication. But there's always a win-win, right? It's never about leverage. It's not about taking advantage of somebody else.
Yeah.
It's about collaborating and finding a win-win situation. When I say I leverage Heidi Mobs, is because she's so experienced. She's way more experienced than myself when it comes to property. So I say this is a great addition for our team. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. Leverage other people time, leverage other people network. So if you get in touch, that doctor, how many other doctors are in his friend circle?
True. That is so true.
So you just open the floodgate for money by partnering with that one doctor.
No, seriously, that's such a good point. It's just when you start with somewhere, right? You build connection with them, you provide good results, good profit for them. Of course, with word of mouth, they're going to say good things about you to their network, to their friends, and you have more opportunity to build more connections and build your business.
Yes, yes. But then there are other things that I would like to mention, because we are talking about multiple income streams, and I gave you a few different ideas on how you can make money with property investing. I also mentioned that I make money with affiliate marketing because I started so many different websites in the past. I'm talking about 20 years, because remember I told you I learned how to do blogging when I was about 15.
Mm,
So I still have websites that I created, and I still receive affiliate commissions from Amazon for articles that I published so many years ago.
mm,
And
wow.
every time somebody click on that link and buy something from Amazon, because they end up there through me, through my link, then whatever they buy, I will receive a small percentage
Mm,
of what they spend on Amazon. That's affiliate marketing, and there is millions of different things that you can pr- recommend to other people and
yeah.
take a commission for it.
Mm,
Everybody on Substack, they will also probably have a domain name, or maybe they will have some sort of website separate to Substack.
mm,
So that domain, where you bought that domain, they will have an affiliate, a referral program. There's a
mm,
referral programs for almost everything that is digital and that is online. So you can recommend products to other people, even if it's a book. Great time to show you my book. So you can recommend my book and put there an Amazon link to my book. And if somebody buys the book, you get paid for it.
mm,
So that is another way how you can make some extra income. And it's passive, because you wrote that article recommending my book only once, and it's going to stay on the internet for as long as Substack exists. Or maybe, or unless you delete it.
right. Well, that's really interesting. We talked a lot about property, but we're now moving on to other sources of income. And affiliate marketing is such a good way that you've mentioned right now, because you spend your time once, you write
Mhm.
recommendations or articles recommending a product, and it's there forever. You continue to get profit or money from it. So that's such a great way. So what are other ways, David, that people should look into for building income? Because you've tried a lot of things, and you've
Mhm.
probably ruled some things out that may not be as worthy of your time. There may be a
Correct.
significant investment of your time, but you may not get as much return.
Yes. So another thing that where I get passive income from is from ETFs and from shares.
Mm,
So investing in the stock market. Uh, that is something that I recommend as well for people all the time. I've got some people that actually follow me on one of the platforms. It's called eToro. It's a social investing platform where you can pretty much automatically copy every single investment decision that I make. So
mm,
let's say I will buy a little bit of, I don't know, uh, Vanguard, VOO. I only know the symbols. You buy VOO or SPI, and automatically your account will copy my account and you'll do the same. But
mm,
over the years, uh, I probably started investing in stocks I think about 7 years ago.
mhm,
I did try before that, but it was nothing serious, and I don't even, yeah, it doesn't matter. But about 7 years ago, when I was still at that state agency, I made the decision and I said, okay, I'm making good money now. So, and I have some spare money. And like I said, at the time, I didn't know what to do with my money. So I decided to start investing my spare money in stocks. And I had to spend quite a lot of time, do a lot of research to learn how to make good decisions, because most people lose money when they invest in stocks. And it's only because investing has a lot to do with emotions, and you're going to make bad decisions because you are having negative emotions when you see that the stocks you bought aren't doing so well. And probably 90% of the people, as soon as they see that is not doing so well, the value of my investments, the value of the stocks that I decided to purchase are declining, I'm going to sell because then I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah.
And this way I only lost 10%. Well, that is probably the worst decision that you could make, because the chances are it's going to decline a little bit. Yes, 10%, 15%. Very, very rarely will decline 15% in a short period of time. But even if it did, the chances are it's going to go back up. Um, and this is not going to be a lesson about investing in stocks, but it's just to show that doing it right, you can definitely pretty much multiply the amount of money that you invest in stocks if you wait long enough. So it's kind of a long term thing. I would not suggest to anybody to do uh, day trading because that is very risky. I don't invest in crypto as well. I think it's too risky for my risk appetite. Everybody will have their risk level. It also depends how much money do you have spare. If you have £1 million, I would definitely risk a percentage of it, a small percentage in crypto. Uh, but if I'm talking about small amounts of money, don't invest in anything that might be too risky because you could lose it all. That's what I'm saying. Forex trading, I would never do it. Also, I think that is very risky. You need to have large amounts of money and be willing to lose a lot of money before you make money, because it's going to take a lot of hits, missed hits, before you become really good at it. So you would have to be willing to lose a lot of money. But when we talk about uh, big companies like Amazon, Apple, I don't know. There's a million different, not a million, but there's probably 50. There's probably 50 or 100 different companies in the stock market that if you buy it, your money is actually pretty safe.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. And in 10 years' time, those stocks are going to be worth a lot more money. So you buy it now, you wait 10 years, and you're going to be making a lot of money. In the meantime, you're going to be receiving dividends.
Yeah, that is really important that you brought it up, David, because stocks is not you invested in it, you got the return in 2 days or 2 months. It is a
Mhm.
long term strategy. You are building financial wealth and freedom, but you need to do it consistently over a significantly long period of time to gain returns. I,
Mhm.
I'm glad that you mentioned that no day trading, no risky assets like crypto or other options trading, etc. Because that's
Mhm.
a very slippery slope. It's
Yeah.
I don't want to say gambling, quite gambling, but it tends to go in that gray area because you lose a lot of money, but it's even worse to gain a lot of money early on because if you do, you tend to believe that, oh, there is so much potential in this and continue to use that money to get more and
Mhm.
more. And you get greedy at some point and you go into that gray area of borderline gambling. And that can be very, very dangerous to your wealth and financial freedom in the long term.
Yes, exactly. Um, there is one more income type that is kind of new to me,
Mhm.
uh, but I know and I very quickly understood the power of it,
Mm.
and it's royalties. I'm talking about this book again, right
Yes.
here. It's just another asset because once you create a product that you can sell again and again and again, so this could be two different things. It could be a book, it could be a YouTube channel where it grows big enough that you are receiving income from YouTube.
Mm,
Now you have other social media platforms that pay you for your content, but it's not passive. Okay.
mm,
So if you are receiving money for posting on Facebook, or if you are receiving money for posting on TikTok, that's not passive. That requires a lot of work. I do not recommend, because you spend 3 hours doing a video. If it's a good quality video, you're going to spend hours doing that. And then it's literally going to disappear in the algorithm. You're not going to make more money from the same video again in the future. So if tomorrow you want to stop doing it, that income will stop.
mm,
But if you create a digital product that you put on Shopify, that you put on Gumroad, that you put on in some platform online that people have access to, uh, it could be a training course or something on something very niche, very specific, right? That can bring you money for a long time. And the more specific it is, the better.
mm,
There is a lot of people now doing, you know, training courses or very vague topics. So they have a lot of competition. But if you find something very, very specific,
mm.
then that is potentially a good product that you can sell again and again and again for years to come. The same with a book. So if you write a book, obviously it cannot be a bad book. It needs to be a good book. Uh, but if it picks up the interest of the public, then you're not going to touch that. You don't edit ever again. You could potentially write another book in the future, but that one book um, is just going to keep giving you money forever. I'm going to show you one book, and I'm pretty sure everybody heard of it. It's one of the most sold books in the world. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I read that.
Um, and it's not a lot of people think that is a book about property, because Kiyosaki is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, property investors in the world. But it is more about money and mindset around money. But this is just to ask, how much money do you think he has made just from the book?
Probably millions of dollars.
He's going to die, and the book will still be sold every year, millions of copies
Yeah.
for many years to come. I think way after, I think we'll be 30 years later, 50 years later, way after he passes away, he will still be selling books forever.
Yeah.
So
But
that
I
is
mean,
one very, very good source of income. If you find a way to write something that is good and that is properly marketed, and that is going to go out there in the world.
very well said, David. The one thing though, a lot of books get written, but it's very hard to get to that level. But that doesn't mean you shoot for that and you stop because you don't think you're going to get to rich dad poor dad level sales. It's still, you could still make good money even if it's not like millions of dollars. We're talking about extra income to build your future. So that, sorry, I'm getting some background noise. um,
It's okay.
I was just going to say, yeah, just because you're not going to make millions of dollars from a book, that's not a reason not to write if you have a good idea that you think you have a solution to a problem, it needs to be told, and there is still value in writing the book.
Yes, 100%. Because you don't need to write for a million people, okay? You just need to write for a few people. Because if you want to make money, obviously, from a business point of view, you want to make a lot of sales, okay? But what my point is, it comes back again to what I said before about networking, about collaboration. Everything comes together. I write a book about your 9 to 5.
Mhm.
You are more than your 9 to 5. Uh, and only 300 people read the book. Well, way more than 300 people have read the book already, which I'm really happy about it. I'm giving an example. 300 people read the book. One of those people could be that doctor that has £200,000 to invest.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Right?
Yeah. You need to
So
think like that. You can't be just saying, oh, it's just 300 people. By the way, 300 people is a lot of people. 300 people who decided that they want to pay money to read something that you wrote. How cool is that?
that is amazing. And you know what? It's also funny that when I wrote the book, it was kind of part of my marketing strategy for what I do in England.
Mm.
Uh, but I wrote the book and I loved it. I've been writing since I was 15, so I love writing. And the book, it was kind of a collection of a lot of things that I have already written in the past.
Mm.
Anyway, the book is selling maybe 90%. It's in America.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, interesting. I don't know why, but it's selling in America. It has sold in other, I think, about 15 countries. Um, but it sells less in England and more in other countries.
Funny. That's funny. Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah, well, people are people. Like, as long as they find value in what you wrote and it helps them, and that's a good thing.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but I really love your take about how it all ties back to, you didn't use these words, but I call it, a lot of people call it building your brand, building your credibility, because that's what
Mhm.
that book does for you. It establishes you as an authority in the space that you have so much lived experience in, like building income streams while doing 9 to 5, be it property or affiliate marketing or stocks or royalties, right? That's something that you've lived. And when you write from your
Mhm.
own experience, people relate to it.
Yes, and I always try to do things from a perspective where I serve people, where I help people. So even within the writing that I do, with the other businesses that I do, with property, with coaching, anything that I do is always trying to actually have an interaction with you and making sure that after that interaction you are in a better place.
Yeah.
You got something positive to take it from, so, and I think that's actually very, very important. And the book is a great way for you to get to know me way better than, well, having 1 hour conversation. If it's a conversation like this, you get to know a lot about me, right? But
Mhm.
when you speak to people, um, you probably speak more with creators on Substack than with some of your relatives,
True.
right? Because there will be the cousin back in Portugal that I only speak once a year or twice a year, and we only speak about how it has been, etc., etc., work, family, everything okay, great, goodbye, see you again 12 months later, and we don't really know anything about each other. So doing a podcast episode or writing a book is a great way to actually show who you really are to your audience, to the people that might be interested in the same things as you.
Very well said, David. That's true. I have never thought about it like that, but I have a lot of family. All I talk to them about is how are you doing? How are the kids doing? How's life going? And that's it. They don't really know that much about what I like to do, what my interests are. And the same with me as
Mhm.
well. I don't know that much about them.
Yeah.
Your point about you writing about the topics that you're interested
Mhm.
in is a way.
Before we finish,
Yeah.
before we finish, I want to suggest one thing, and that's what kind of changed my life, what turned changed everything for me, and it relates to this situation that we're just talking about. We talk to people a lot, we talk to family, we talk to friends. If we're working a 9 to 5, you talk to your co-workers, but you never really have meaning conversations that are um, honest and that kind of talk about what your dreams are. You don't talk about money with your friends. You don't talk about your dreams with your friends, about your real dreams. You might say, "Oh, I want to buy a new house. I want to buy a new car." Great.
Yeah.
People will say that stuff. That is normal. But you don't go to your friend's house and say, "I want to stop working and start making £30,000 a month because I want to go and travel the world. I don't want to deal with boss, with people." You don't say that. People will call you crazy. So, what I want to suggest to anybody that listens today or that listens in the future is think about the environment that you are in. And you have to put yourself out there in different rooms with like-minded people. So go out there, networking experience, go to seminars about a topic that you like, whatever it is. If you like flowers, I'm sure there'll be events around flowers, for gardening, for people that love it. Find your group of people, because in that place you can talk about flowers as much as you can without being judged. You can't do that at work or at the
Yeah.
auntie's house or at the friend's house. You can't do that. You need to go to specific places where you can talk about without filter, without being judged. And once you learn to do that, everything is going to change for you.
That's such a great suggestion, David. I had to write it down so I don't forget about this. As you were speaking, I was writing it down. It's such a great suggestion because a lot of times this journey of building your financial freedom, that is isolating in some ways because not everybody talks about those things in your real life. That's why we have to do it on Substack, because there's nobody else in my real life that talks about these things.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is true. You don't talk about these things. You don't talk about your aspirations, your goals, your visions, because people will have. So here's what happens. If you go to a friend's house and you have this amazing idea that is really difficult, but you are willing to do it, your friend will maybe say, "Yeah, go for it. Great. You are very brave," because they really love you. They really support you. Most people will say, "That's crazy. You're going to lose all your money. Why would you do all that?" And the number one reason why people have that reaction is because it's a defense mechanism. When you tell them that you have a vision and that you are going to change your life, they are forced to look in the mirror and think, "Why am I not doing this?"
A
So
reflection.
the easiest way to stop looking in the mirror is to shut down that idea. And we're never going to talk about, because guess what? If they had a bad reaction, next time that you come around, you're not going to talk about money again. You're not going to talk about having these crazy ideas that are not crazy at all. They are brilliant ideas. But for your friend, it's a problem. It means hard work. It means get out of your comfort zone. It means stop sitting in the sofa for 5 hours in the evenings and do something about your life. It means having a conversation about money with the wife. It means admitting that they have a problem with debt and that needs to be sorted first. It means stop having takeaways every day and Starbucks. It means so many difficult things for them that they are going to shut down your idea completely before you actually are able to express yourself. So that's why they don't support you. They are happy for you. They want the best for you, but they don't want you to make them feel bad about themselves.
Very well said. That's why your suggestion about finding like minded people who think like you, who want the same things as you, is incredibly important. Because in that group, you don't feel out of space, out of place there. There are people that are on the same path as you, on the same journey as you. You learn from each other, you contribute to them, you learn from them, and it's a good area, space, and network to run ideas off of each other and build.
Yes, 100%. It changed my life.
That's awesome. So, one last question before you leave, David. I've been meaning to ask. You don't have to tell me the exact number, but I want to understand if you have a number that you are shooting towards that makes you feel like, oh, I'm financially free now. I can quit my 9 to 5, whatever it is that you want to do. If it is travel, have more
Mhm.
time for your family, no need to tell me the number. Do you have a number?
Yes, I have a number. Let me just try and move my camera.
Sure.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna regret this.
Oh, even
I'm
the
gonna
vision
regret this.
board.
I can't show you that. Anyway, it's not gonna work. I've got a vision board right behind me.
I see it. It
Uh,
says 9 to 5. I can see some things.
yes, you can see some things. Uh, and right at the top is got a number in there.
Okay.
Right
Got
at
it.
the top is got a number in there. But let me give you a better answer. It's not really about the number
Yeah.
because when we do a podcast, it's so important that we are careful about educating other people and be sensible about.
Mm.
So, and we live in an era where everybody is constantly comparing themselves with each other because you open Instagram and immediately you see somebody that is prettier than you,
True.
stronger than you.
Yeah.
It's true. So it's really not about my number. It's about your number,
Mm.
each person's number. Multiply your current situation by 10. If you make £40,000 a year, then you want to probably have £400,000 a year. It's going to change your life. If you just double your money, it's great, but it's not going to change your life.
That is true.
If you just triple your money, yeah, you can stop working, but it's not going to change your life. You
Mm.
need to 10x. And once you 10x, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
What happens with entrepreneurs, and even though I'm not a millionaire, I know a lot of people with a lot of money. And what
Mm.
happens is, as you make more money, your lifestyle changes.
Important
And
point.
you and that is the number one reason why I have not left my 9 to 5.
Mm.
Because every property that I buy, we get something new. I get a new car. Not me, my wife. My wife gets a new car. We changed to a much bigger house. I now live in a place that I love. Um, we do more holidays every year.
Mm.
The kids have better activities.
Yeah.
I have had in the last maybe 4 years multiple situations where I traveled abroad for healthcare. Where
Mm.
I live in England, and I took my son in England. Just to give you an idea why money is important, and
Yeah.
saying that you want money, that you love money, it's not a bad thing. It depends what you're going to do with the money.
Yeah.
My son had a problem with his health that was very scary for us. And the doctors in England, the national health system, um, said, "Okay, you just need to wait for an appointment." Uh, and they gave an estimate of 6 to 12 months waiting time. So my wife was crying. I was really shocked and not knowing what to do. But I thought, we can do this. I took my wife, I took my son. We went to Portugal to a private clinic. They saw him 2 days later. In the same day, they did an operation for him. And we came back home another 2 or 3 days later. Um, if I didn't have that extra money, I would never be able to do that.
True.
I would never be able to do that. And I also had the same situation, well, different healthcare situation. My wife as well. We both did the same. We traveled, we got it sorted. We didn't have to worry anymore. There were two relatives in Portugal that were in with terminal illness, um, and so they were going to die. I live here. My dad lives in Switzerland. My dad also is okay, and he does a lot for his life. He's got enough money so that he can do what he wants. When that happened, and I've got the phone call saying it's going to happen, I left everything and I went to Portugal. And believe it or not, this was my grandmother. I was with my grandmother before the family that lives in Portugal, because they were working
Wow.
and they could not afford to not go to work
Wow.
and go to stay with my grandmother. I could afford that. And I said, well, I don't care if I can have day off or not. I don't care if I have holidays. I will think about that when I come back. I just left and I was there in the same day. But that's only possible when you have money, and that's why you need to 10x. And once whatever it is that you want, if that is time with your kids, if that is traveling, if that's charity, maybe you just want to help kids in another country,
Yeah.
orphans, I don't know. Whatever it is that you want to do, you need money to do that, and 10 times probably and that is going to be true financial freedom. But yes, it doesn't really matter what the number is, because it also depends what is the country. If I lived in the Philippines, probably I needed 10 times less money.
True. That is very true. I'm so glad that your son is doing okay now. Is he doing okay?
Perfect. It's very, very, very healthy.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad that your son is doing well. You, your wife, and your family are all doing well. But your point about being able to have the freedom and flexibility to do those things, to travel to a different country and provide healthcare for your family, to go visit your grandmother before her last days or whatever it is,
Mhm.
that is really important. That's what wealth buys for us. It's not the whatever the $1 million homes or luxury
Yeah.
cars or whatever. If that's what you want, great, you do that. But for me, it is about the freedom, flexibility to do and be there for your family. That's the most important thing.
Yes, I think it's a great way to finish today.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, whatever you want, it is possible. Get in the right rooms, learn how to do it, connect with people that are already doing what you want to do.
Great conversation, David. You've given us amazing advice, things that you'd only realize after years of failing and learning from your own experience, you gave us a chance to not need to go through all that and learn from your experience and what you've accomplished and in your life. So I really appreciate this conversation. I've taken personally taken a lot of information from this conversation, and I'm going to start looking into some things and implement some of the things that I learned from you today. So I really appreciate your time, David. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much as well for inviting me.
Of
Thank you. Thank
course.
you, everybody that was watching. Perfect. It
Yeah,
was a
thank you.
great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank
Goodbye,
you,
Shalini.
David. Bye. Sorry, I'm having some computer troubles. Okay, bye.